I got 16 people signed up, which was
Wow.
a huge amount because I haven't had that high number in a very long time, if ever.
Hello and welcome to this Fearless Coach Academy case study interview. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing a student of mine, Steve Rothstein. Steve, I'm so grateful for you to share your experience over the next few minutes, kind of working with us and the results that you got with your course business. So why don't we just start by having you introduce yourself, share with the viewer here who you teach and lead through your course business, like who your ideal clients are and how you help them.
Well, thank you, Peter, and let me say it's an honor to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me to do this interview. I am Steve Rothstein. I'm a composer and music instructor based here in Los Angeles. And for most of my life, I have been teaching collegiate music theory and composition. For a number of years, I have been doing my own business on the side. And before the pandemic, I basically would have a few people over to my apartment, adult learners, basically. So these are clients that are looking to get into film music and media, and they usually have like a job on that they're doing full time, and this is extra, and they're trying to transition. They don't want to go back to school, and they're looking for extra learning. So they come to my classes, and I would meet in my apartment. I'd have like maybe 4 or 5 people at my apartment, and would do like on a Sunday. During the pandemic, of course, everything went online, and I just word spread, and I started getting a lot more students all over the country, and even in different countries as well. And basically, what I do is I I help composers reach their full potential and achieve artistic mastery. Anybody who's struggling with their craft, I can help them.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, because the benefit of that is not only for them to achieve mastery, right, but to do it in a way to where they can do it for a living. They can do what
Yeah,
they love, right? Not necessarily, but that's ultimately, I think, some of the goals for some of them. Is that true?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for adult learners, it's hard. They're not going to like stop what they're doing and go back to school full time. So they're looking for private instruction. There's a lot of people out there. So I'm trying to tap into that.
Yep. And how do you primarily solve that problem and teach that? Because this is a little different than some of our other students, as you know, right? Many of our students are coaches that just do kind of one-on-one coaching. You do lessons, but that's very selectively with like a small group of students. This is more of a course business. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I do have individual students, but it's not very cost effective. I learned very quickly that doing, 1 hour at a time per student, it's better to do 1 hour and have 20 students in a class.
Totally.
So I started doing the courses more, and I developed quite a repertoire of types of things that I teach. But my model had been that I would announce a new class to my mailing list, and it would start, let's say, in January and go to March. It was like 10 weeks, and they could either come live on Zoom or not come. And what I've been working on in the program with you is to transition from that to filming everything and do a subscription-based model, which is a
Yes.
huge undertaking. So
Yeah, totally. It's a lot of work and it's even more work than you probably imagined when you started. But trust me, stay committed to the process because literally the freedom that you get, Steve, on the back end, I know you know this, is going to be worth it, right? In the beginning, when you're building this and you're packaging it, it's going to probably take you even more time than what you initially would have just done if you were doing it live, right?
yeah,
And now that it's recorded, then you can have that course be offered evergreen over time. So you answered my next question, which is kind of where the business was at before you joined Fearless Coach Academy. It sounds like you were just kind of doing, individual lessons. You're doing
yeah.
teaching. You started to go online because of the pandemic, but that's kind of where the business was at. Is that right? Is there anything else you'd want to share where the business was at before we started?
No, that's basically it. And it wasn't my full income, but I learned during the pandemic, wow, I really can do this globally if I know how to market it. What happened post-pandemic is the numbers started dropping. And I'm like, why is that happening? Well, people were less interested in online learning, or it's harder to reach them. But yeah, that is definitely the model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that one of the primary motivations of why you reached out for support? Is because you just saw the attendance or the interest was going down because of less of the online engagement?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. There were a number of factors. I always wanted to grow my business, and I felt like I should be able to learn it on my own and be able to do it, but it's very difficult
Yeah.
I to do that. But I am also an adjunct professor here in Los Angeles, which means I teach part-time at a lot of universities around. And you know, some quarters are good, and then sometimes when you're adjunct, they're like, "Well, we don't need you," and that happened a few times last year in 2024.
Yeah.
And I just had enough because as soon as you just get an email saying, thank you, we don't need you this year, and you drop a huge drop in income.
Yeah.
And I just reached the point where I'm done with that. Like I need to take matters in my own hand
Yeah.
and I need to grow my online business. And, that's what I did. And I quickly learned like I need help because I was watching videos on how to grow your business and just was confusing to me. I'm like, I really need a coach.
Totally. Oh, thank you for sharing that because that's, I think, something the viewer can most likely relate to, right? A lot of us are taught once we get the job, we've got security right there.
Yeah.
Um, but what you're sharing is that, in fact, even with the job, there was inconsistency, right?
Yeah.
And so you had to kind of take that direction in your own hands and say, okay, I'm still going to teach when I can, and I'm going to create my own security and my own consistency around building this business, which you've started, which is amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what was because it does take, you mentioned a few times you decided you were looking for help, you needed help. I imagine, was there any resistance or fears or concerns that you had about reaching out for help and looking into Fearless Coach Academy or working with anybody else?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. There was an emotional and practical block for me. The emotional was, I have a PhD in music. I feel like I'm a smart person. And my mindset was like, I should be able to do this on my own. I should be able to grow my business and figure out the business model and do it. And uh, I would watch YouTube videos and how to grow your business, how to advertise on social media and Instagram and Facebook, and there are all these videos out there and they're long and some of them are short but confusing, and I would leave those videos with more questions and I'm like, why am I having trouble? I should be able to figure this out.
Mhm.
And so I was a little bit crippled with, I felt like I should have been able to do it on my own, like figure out the whole business thing. I have no business training. And so I finally said, I really do need some help. You got to recognize at some point where you don't know everything. In music, that's my focus, but business, it's not that I'm not smart, it's just that I'm not trained in that area and I had to like reconcile with that.
Yeah.
And the other was financial. It is an investment and you have to be also in a place where you feel like you're ready to take on that commitment. But there's also something very magical. I know it's like, anything that any kind of like when students pay me, they're getting coaching from me to teach and they're paying money. So when you sign up for a program, you're also paying money. But there's something also very liberating about it. It's you're doing this for yourself. You're giving yourself a gift. And once you get in that mind frame, it became not so scary to make that emotional commitment. Like I can't do this on my help. I need help from someone. I need coaching, and the financial commitment is really a gift to yourself. That's how I view it.
I love that you said that. I can completely relate. I mean, last year I hired a business coach, and
Mm.
it took me a while to make that decision too because I had my own ego involved of like, I'm a business coach. Why would I need help with this? Like I know my stuff and there's a lot that I didn't know still, right? And so I invested, this was last year, $30,000, and I actually just renewed with that coach literally like within the last week or two for another year.
Wow.
And it took courage and it took, but when I decided to do that, my commitment level went through the roof. Last year, Steve, we had the best year ever in Fearless Coach Academy. Not just from like a income profit perspective, but more importantly, like from students and the results that they're getting because of me committing and going all in. So I
Yeah.
just want the person, viewing this, if you have any of those hesitancies, you're not alone. Steve went through it. I went through it. I still go through it anytime I look at a coach, but it just collapses time, right?
Yeah.
Because, how many YouTube videos for free would you need to watch to really get the system, in other words? You know what I mean? And you can start there, but I love that you made that decision. Obviously, I'm biased because I get to mentor you on this journey, which is a gift. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Well, let's chunk down into kind of what you took away and the three biggest things, or a few of the biggest things that you've learned and implemented that has had the most significant impact in the business so far.
Yeah, well, so far, I mean, the program has been amazing and it's incredibly helpful. So anybody watching this, like for someone who just all my focus is in music, um, this has been incredibly helpful. I think what what has helped me the most is how organized you are in not only the program in general, but giving each participant, each of your clients, a personalized roadmap, an order to do things in. Now, I'm a teacher and it's all about structure and order, and my lectures are structured that way, and I'm a composer and we got to get all the notes in the right place. So I really responded to that. And you really provide a direction. Do it in this order. Don't worry about this. Do this first. And it's very, very helpful because it saves time. It really helps you focus and maximize your effort and work. That on my own, I wouldn't have known how to do because you feel scattered all over the place trying to figure it out. So that was absolutely helpful. The next one is also emotional. One of the things you've said repeatedly is, done is better than perfect. I'm a perfectionist, and I sometimes I feel like I should be able to give that to myself. Just get it done. But hearing that from an expert like yourself and from other people in the group, it's very, very helpful. I need to be reminded that. And it gives me permission, for whatever reason, I needed it from outside of myself. It give me permission to just, you know, slowly improve as I'm doing it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time around. So that's very helpful. And you've helped me a lot with organic marketing. And I didn't really understand that term, but we're working on it together right now. I'm growing that. I have a lot of work still to do with that, but it is very, very helpful. And I don't have, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on marketing, but you constantly say you can out educate people, which I think I can, or at least shine that way, and do that as entertainment. What do you call it? Edutainment, I think.
Edutainment. Yep,
Yeah,
totally.
and to do it through the organic marketing plan, which has been very, very helpful. It gives me hope and it gives me something to move forward to.
Yeah. And you're just starting to see that journey. For your niche, YouTube is going to be the primary platform because you're showing your expertise. You're building that know, like, and trust. Having a Facebook group will be great as well because now you're building a community and
Yeah,
doing that organically at first. Now, again, there will be a time and place when the profit is there to reinvest and do paid ads. But I appreciate you trusting the process that I'm teaching and trusting me in starting organic to just kind of bring in those students, bring in those core students that you're helping to get more social proof, better results, more income that you can reinvest for that next level.
yeah.
Speaking of that, those are beautiful things that you shared. What have been the specific results that you've got these last, couple months of us working together? Do you have anything that you can share there specifically of the results that you got through Fearless Coach Academy?
Yeah, so I am just started moving into filming all my material. I think I've estimated I have about 250 hours of teaching material in my private business that I have done a lot of very, very specific types of study for composers, looking at music, looking at scores. I call it score study, harmony lessons, things like that. And it's always been kind of live. I've taught it online during the pandemic live, but now I'm filming everything. And I did my first one, which is an ear training course. And I advertised, and within 2 weeks, I got 16 people signed up, which was
Wow.
a huge amount because I haven't had that high number in a very long time, if ever. And it's going to be an ongoing, so it's all filmed and people could keep signing up, and that's been a huge increase. So I think just from that, um, my business per year, I was making somewhere around 20,000. It wasn't I teach at university, so this was not my full income, but that would be per year. And in 2 weeks, I made over $6,000, and I'm still getting more people interested in signing up. So I'm hoping that will just keep growing. And once it's filmed, that can just keep generating money. And I'm going to do that with all my material, and that's what that we're working on. So
Oh,
it's very
Steve, I love
exciting.
it. That's an incredible result. 16 students in 2 weeks, literally a 2 week window.
Yeah.
And again, that's just one launch.
Yeah.
Now that it'll be recorded, that's going to be a product that you get to offer evergreen forever. And
Yeah.
you can recycle that offer annually or semi-annually or however you want. And that's just one of the courses which you are now, we talked about recently, working on your next course for next month.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping to do film one complete course per month, and by the end of the year, I'll have at least 12, if not more, filmed so that we can go to subscription base. So it's very,
yeah,
I'm pushing it and I'm very excited. Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Who would you recommend, because you've been a student for a while now, who would you recommend Fearless Coach Academy to?
I would say anybody who is looking to take matters in their own hand, to grow, to become financially independent, uh, to have that kind of freedom, uh, that this is for you. And I was on the fence for a long time. I don't want to say too long because I think you are where you are in your life. You're always on time in your life. And it took losing a lot of work this past year to go, that was the fire I needed. And I feel really on time right now. So I think you have to center yourself with that. But if you're on the fence and you really are feeling, you need growth, but you're struggling, this is for you. I yeah, I had emotional fear and financial fear to commitment, but it has focused me, it has channeled me. If you are looking, there's a tree analogy, right? What is the best time to plant a tree? They say yesterday. What is the second best time today? So don't wait. Don't wait. I'm already. I feel like I'm ahead just by having joined the program. If I hadn't done it, wouldn't be this year for 2025. I'm taking on new challenges because of the program. So it will push you forward.
Thank you, Steve, for sharing that. Well, again, I really appreciate you sharing your story and your journey. And I know we're just starting too. Like we're going to continue helping you grow. For the people who are watching this who would like to personally connect with you, maybe they themselves would like to learn from you. They'd like to learn, maybe they're a composer, for example, or they want to achieve mastery with their music. Where should they go to connect with you? Do you have a website or anything you can share?
Yes, I have a website. It's www dot, and it's my full name, Steve Rothstein.
Okay. And how do you
You,
spell Rothstein, just so people know?
yeah, it's Steve is my first name, and then Rothstein, Rothstein is in Nancy. Music, Steve Rothstein Music at .com. Yeah,
Yep. Okay, perfect.
you
So
can reach me through my website. That'd be great.
perfect. So steverothsteinmusic.com. If you want to connect with Steve, search there. I think that's also the name of your YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So definitely reach out and connect with Steve. And if you're watching this and you would like support from us, from my team and myself in growing your coaching business, then I invite you to schedule a complimentary business brainstorm call with my team. What we do is we just jump on Zoom for a short 15 minutes. We take a look at your niche, your price point, your offer to see what's possible for you. And then we map out a 3-step game plan. And you can absolutely take the plan and implement it on your own if you want to. If you do decide you want support like Steve did, then we can go over those details and talk about what that looks like. But there's zero pressure. It's just an invitation if we feel we can help you. And then you can decide. If you are watching this video on my website right now, then the easiest way to book the call is to just scroll below this video and you can pick a day and time on the calendar. And if you're watching it on social media, then you can go to earn100kcoaching.com, which is our website, and schedule a call with us if you want to. But for those of you that are watching that are musicians or composers, definitely connect with Steve. He is an incredible teacher. And in fact, Steve, you sent me one of your pieces, one of your compositions just last week. I listened to it. I had chills.
Hmm.
I was
Oh,
blown away. I felt bad just calling you a teacher, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like. I felt like I was like listening to the score of like a John. Is it John? Who's the famous
oh,
one of the
John.
famous
Yeah.
John
John.
Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in one of those movies right now. It was beautiful. So you are incredibly talented. And I appreciate you stepping outside of your comfort zone because you're right. Your profession has required perfection.
Mhm.
It requires it. And that is why you're noticing, right, that's a new area of growth for you as an entrepreneur because entrepreneurship, and I come from a similar perfectionist required profession of investment banking, finance, like very detailed, have to be perfect on everything. And in fact, that could slow us down as entrepreneurs. So you're building these new skills, you're shifting yourself mentally and emotionally to do this, and you're obviously getting results by just, getting 16 students within 2 weeks. So thank you again for taking the time to share your story. And yeah, I just really appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you, and thank you for all your help.
Cool. All right. You're welcome. I will sign off here. And again, team, if you're watching this and you want to connect with us, you know how to do it. Scroll below the video, book a call with us, and we'll talk to you soon.